On August 12th, the sky did something almost impossible. The scale is almost impossible to feel. The moon crossed the sun and darkness touched Europe. For a moment, daylight lost control. Then, as night arrived, the Perseids began to fall. Every streak made the silence larger. For one rare day, two cosmic clocks overlapped. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. This was not the end of the world. Ordinary streets became temporary observatories. But it was one of the strangest skies of 2026. The edit should stay precise. The event spread across time zones, feeds, and telescopes. The data kept the fear honest. In Greenland and Iceland, daylight turned metallic and cold. The human reaction gave the moment weight. In Spain, totality came low, close to sunset. The human reaction gave the moment weight. And after sunset, the meteors took over the story. Every streak made the silence larger. Online, people called it a cosmic double feature. The edit should stay precise. The truth is even better than the headline. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. These events came from completely different parts of space. The scale is almost impossible to feel. One was geometry, the other was ancient debris. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. Together, they made the sky feel scripted. For a moment, daylight lost control. But nothing about it was magic. The data kept the fear honest. It was motion, timing, and scale. The map showed the scale clearly, and that makes it more disturbing, not less. The scale is almost impossible to feel. The eclipse began as a small bite from the sun. Ordinary streets became temporary observatories. Most places saw only a partial shadow. The map showed the scale clearly. But inside one narrow path, the sun disappeared. For a moment, daylight lost control. That path crossed Greenland, Iceland, the Atlantic, and Spain. The map showed the scale clearly. For many viewers, totality lasted less than 2 minutes. The human reaction gave the moment weight. That short darkness was enough to change everything. For a moment, daylight lost control. Birds quieted, shadows bent. Colors went strange. The human reaction gave the moment weight. Then the sun returned like someone opening a door. For a moment, daylight lost control. But the sky was not finished. Every streak made the silence larger. The Perseid peak arrived overnight on August 12 to 13. Every streak made the silence larger. Under dark skies, dozens of meteors could appear each hour. Waiting made each flash feel earned. Some were faint scratches, some became fireballs. Every streak made the silence larger. The moon was new, so moonlight did not wash them out. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. That made 2026 unusually good for meteor watching. Waiting made each flash feel earned. So the same date gave us shadow by day. For a moment, daylight lost control. And ancient sparks by night. The dust was older than history. No wonder the internet treated it like a signal. The edit should stay precise. But the signal was written in orbital mechanics. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. A solar eclipse is brutally simple. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. The moon is small, but it is close. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. The sun is huge, but far away. The sun looked alive and violent. From Earth, they can appear almost the same size. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. That coincidence lets the moon cover the solar face. For a moment, daylight lost control. But the shadow on Earth is tiny. The map showed the scale clearly. Miss the center line, and totality vanishes. The map showed the scale clearly. That is why people traveled thousands of miles. The human reaction gave the moment weight. They were chasing a shadow only kilometers wide. The map showed the scale clearly. In totality, the solar corona becomes visible. For a moment, daylight lost control. That crown is the sun's outer atmosphere. The sun looked alive and violent. Normally, sunlight hides it completely. The sun looked alive and violent. During totality, the hidden structure appears. For a moment, daylight lost control. That is why eclipses feel supernatural. The human reaction gave the moment weight. Your brain sees daytime turn into night. Ordinary streets became temporary observatories. But the cause is just alignment. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. A few minutes later, the machine moves on. The map showed the scale clearly. The sky looks normal again, but it is not forgotten. The human reaction gave the moment weight. Greenland saw the shadow first in the far north. The human reaction gave the moment weight. Then Iceland stood under the moving darkness. The human reaction gave the moment weight. Over the Atlantic, the Umbra crossed empty water. The map showed the scale clearly. Spain received the eclipse near the end of the day. The human reaction gave the moment weight. That timing made the footage unusually cinematic. For a moment, daylight lost control. The sun was already low. Then the moon cut it away. Ordinary streets became temporary observatories. Photographers had silhouettes, mountains, and ocean lines. The human reaction gave the moment weight. Every frame looked like the planet was pausing. For a moment, daylight lost control. But totality was short, and timing was unforgiving. The data kept the fear honest. Clouds could erase the entire experience. The human reaction gave the moment weight. Smoke and haze also changed what people saw. Ordinary streets became temporary observatories. Some saw the corona, others saw only a darkening sky. The human reaction gave the moment weight. That is the cruelty of sky events. Waiting made each flash feel earned. The universe performs on its schedule. The scale is almost impossible to feel. We either stand in the right place or miss it. The map showed the scale clearly. That fragility made the footage more valuable. The edit should stay precise. Because no two viewpoints saw the same eclipse, the human reaction gave the moment weight. Each camera caught one local version of a global event. The map showed the scale clearly. The Perseids come from comet Swift-Tuttle. The dust was older than history. Every year, Earth crosses that comet's old trail. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. The particles are usually tiny. The dust was older than history. Many are no bigger than sand. The dust was older than history. But they hit the atmosphere at enormous speed. The scale is almost impossible to feel. The light is not the rock burning like wood. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. It is the air around it being violently heated. The scale is almost impossible to feel. That flash is what we call a meteor. Every streak made the silence larger. When the particle reaches the ground, then it is a meteorite. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. Most Perseids never make it that far. The scale is almost impossible to feel. They die high above us as light. Every streak made the silence larger. That makes the shower safe, but not ordinary. Waiting made each flash feel earned. Each streak is old solar system material. The dust was older than history. Some grains have traveled for centuries. The dust was older than history. Then Earth sweeps through them in one night. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. That is why meteor showers return predictably. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. The sky show is old debris meeting present motion. Every streak made the silence larger. Ancient dust becomes tonight's headline. The edit should stay precise. So why did the eclipse and Perseids share a date? The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. Because the sky has many cycles at once, the scale is almost impossible to feel. The moon's cycle controls eclipses. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. Earth's yearly orbit controls meteor showers. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. Those cycles usually ignore each other. The scale is almost impossible to feel. But sometimes, calendar dates overlap. The edit should stay precise. In 2026, the overlap was especially clean. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. The new moon made the meteor night darker. Every streak made the silence larger. That mattered more than the eclipse itself. Waiting made each flash feel earned. A total eclipse lasts minutes. For a moment, daylight lost control. A meteor shower can run all night. Every streak made the silence larger. Seeing both at once would be unlikely. For a moment, daylight lost control. The eclipse sky is dark, but not midnight dark. The human reaction gave the moment weight. Only a very bright fireball might appear during totality. For a moment, daylight lost control. The better plan was simple. Eclipse first, meteors later. The edit should stay precise. That is how most observers experienced the night. The human reaction gave the moment weight. One event ended. The next one rose. Every streak made the silence larger. The day became a relay race between shadows and sparks. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. There was another reason the date felt crowded. The scale is almost impossible to feel. Several planets were gathered along the morning sky. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. This was not a perfect straight line. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. Planetary alignments are perspective effects. The scale is almost impossible to feel. They look close from Earth but remain far apart. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. Still, for sky watchers, it added to the feeling. Waiting made each flash feel earned. Eclipse, meteors, planets. One crowded sky calendar. The edit should stay precise. That is why headlines sounded apocalyptic. The edit should stay precise. But crowded does not mean dangerous. The data kept the fear honest. The planets did not pull Earth into chaos. The scale is almost impossible to feel. The eclipse did not change gravity in any meaningful way. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. The meteors were not a storm of impacts. Every streak made the silence larger. The danger was misinformation, not the sky. The edit should stay precise. Rare events invite bad explanations. The edit should stay precise. The correct explanation is more powerful. The data kept the fear honest. Because it means we knew this was coming. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. The universe surprised people, not astronomers. The data kept the fear honest. That is the beauty of prediction. The map showed the scale clearly. For this story, the visuals should stay grounded. The edit should stay precise. Use real eclipse footage whenever possible. For a moment, daylight lost control. Use real crowd footage to show scale. The human reaction gave the moment weight. Use satellite-style maps to explain path. The map showed the scale clearly. Use meteor time-lapses for the night half. Every streak made the silence larger. Use observatory interiors for credibility. The data kept the fear honest. Use animated diagrams only when the story needs clarity. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. Do not overuse fake disaster imagery. The scale is almost impossible to feel. The tone should be ominous but factual. The edit should stay precise. Dark orbit works best when mystery becomes mechanics. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. Every scene should answer what the viewer is seeing. The edit should stay precise. If the voice says shadow, show shadow. The map showed the scale clearly. If the voice says debris, show debris. The dust was older than history. If the voice says crowd, show human reaction. The human reaction gave the moment weight. Yeah, that synchronization is what makes the episode feel expensive. The edit should stay precise. Pixabay and Pexels can provide the variety. The edit should stay precise. Mix images and videos so the rhythm breathes. The edit should stay precise. The result should feel like a documentary, not a slideshow. The scale is almost impossible to feel. Humans have always feared sudden darkness. The human reaction gave the moment weight. Ancient cultures built myths around eclipses. For a moment, daylight lost control. Today, we calculate them centuries ahead. The data kept the fear honest. That does not make them less emotional. The human reaction gave the moment weight. It makes the emotion stranger. For a moment, daylight lost control. You know the cause and still feel small. The scale is almost impossible to feel. Meteor showers carry the same contradiction. Every streak made the silence larger. They are predictable, but each streak is random. Every streak made the silence larger. You can know the peak and still wait. Waiting made each flash feel earned. You can know the source and still gasp. The dust was older than history. That is why these events travel so well on video. The edit should stay precise. They turn scale into something visible. The map showed the scale clearly. They make astronomy feel local. Ordinary streets became temporary observatories. A shadow crosses your town. Ordinary streets became temporary observatories. A meteor burns above your roof. Every streak made the silence larger. Suddenly, orbital mechanics is personal. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. That is the real power of August 12th. For a moment, daylight lost control. It made the cosmic machine visible from the ground. The scale is almost impossible to feel. So what actually happened on August 12th? The edit should stay precise. A total solar eclipse crossed the Northern Hemisphere. The map showed the scale clearly. A partial eclipse reached much wider regions. Ordinary streets became temporary observatories. The Perseids peaked overnight into August 13th. Every streak made the silence larger. The new moon gave meteor watchers darker skies. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. Comet Swift-Tuttle supplied the ancient dust. The dust was older than history. And Earth supplied the speed. The scale is almost impossible to feel. The atmosphere supplied the fire. The scale is almost impossible to feel. And humans supplied the cameras. The human reaction gave the moment weight. That is why the internet saw a once-in-years moment. The edit should stay precise. Not because the sky was warning us. The scale is almost impossible to feel. Because the sky was revealing its schedule. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. The frightening part is not chaos. The data kept the fear honest. The frightening part is precision. The map showed the scale clearly. A shadow can be predicted years ahead. The diagram turned wonder into mechanics. A meteor shower can return on schedule. Every streak made the silence larger. And still, when it happens, we look up. The human reaction gave the moment weight. This was dark orbit. The day's shadow met fire. For a moment, daylight lost control.